part of South Philly. Let's go see what the people have got to say.
I'm ready to roll if they need me.
Now listen here, Dutch. The Mets and the Cowboys, they suck.
1, 2, 3, go Birds! Go Birds! Here we got 302BIRDS, Gino Stinks. Go Birds!
Get your water ice and soft pretzels ready because you are now tuned into a 302BIRDS podcast experience. Proudly presented by TickPick, Nick's Pizza, El Diablo Burritos, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street. Let's take it to the show.
It's one of my favorite weeks because not only is football back, but it just feels like we're getting into fall. Once you get to August, you're really into fall, at least in my opinion. I know my girlfriend, if she's watching the show tonight, is going to want to strangle me because she's a summer person. So to all my summer people out there, I just want to apologize in advance because this show is going to precede the vibe for fall because football is back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 302BIRDS. Of course, thank you guys for tuning in. Tonight on the show, it is me and my guy, of course, Action Jackson from his own weekends last year. And as you guys know, 302BIRDS, Eagles post-game show with me, which we're getting ready to gear up for. But we got an amazing podcast for you guys tonight. Jack and I are going to get to ourselves here in a minute. We'll talk about the Phillies. We'll talk about football being back, of course. But before all of that, I just want to go ahead and get into an awesome interview that one of our own was able to do for a 302BIRDS call-in segment. So first, want to thank El Diablo for this, and then we're going to kick it to KJ McCoy and Ross Tucker. Thank you to Ross today for joining us.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking you how your day is, but their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302BIRDS sent you. God bless. Go Birds.
All right, so we are here with Ross Tucker. Thank you, Ross, for taking the time. I know that you're a very busy man with CBS and also with the Eagles as well, so we appreciate you taking the time.
Hey, it is my pleasure. Great to be on with you guys. I see you're growing. You're doing big things. That's awesome. I have a healthy respect, first of all, for anyone that loves the Eagles like you guys, but also that tries to start something from scratch, entrepreneurs. I've got the entrepreneurial spirit as well. So thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And speaking about that, I mean, I guess we'll get right into it. You started a new program. Tell me a little bit about futurefans.com.
I wish I started it. It's actually,
okay.
Believe it or not, a couple of Bengals fans that I met. It's genius. I don't know if you have any kids, KJ or whatever, but it is really hard to explain football to like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even 10-year-olds. It is. I mean, even my daughters, I took them to the Super Bowl and the one turned 13 that day, the other one's 11. And I could just tell by the questions they were asking that I hadn't asked, I hadn't done a terrific job teaching them football. These guys have kind of solved it. It's a storybook-led activity box. So if you want to have your child have that same love and joy for the Eagles that you do, go to futurefans.com. Because the reality is, like, it's hard to get them to sit there and watch the whole game with you. Like, they want to be on their iPads. They want to be doing this or that. But just think, I think the thing costs like $60. Think about how well worth it that would be if that gets your 7-year-old or your 9-year-old or your 5-year-old or whoever, your niece, nephew, I don't care, to actually sit there and watch every Eagles game like I did with my dad when he was complaining about Izell Jenkins and Buddy Ryan back in the day. Like, that's what it's about, right? It's about watching the game with your dad or whoever. Well, you know, these kids nowadays have so many other things going on that they're not just going to sit there and watch it with you. So you want to get them to love the Eagles as much as we all do. It's futurefans.com. Can't highly recommend enough. You go over there and check it out. That is the key to getting your kids to understand and love football like we do.
That's awesome. Yeah, go check that out, guys. Definitely go check that out. That's awesome. I mean, that definitely does sound like something that kids can get behind. I mean, parents can get behind, showing their kids, trying to get them experience with sports, I guess, and football.
Especially now, by the way, with how good the Eagles are. Like, this is like I think the one guy told me that when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl a few years ago is when he was trying to get his kid to watch the game, and they're like, "Nah, I'll watch next year." No. We're a Bengals fan. Like this is the year. You got to watch now. They're not going to the Super Bowl again. But obviously, with the Eagles being so good and so many positive things happen, it makes it even more special if you can get them to sit there and watch the game or most of the game with you. And I mean, KJ, they got another really good team this year. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's perfect transition into my next question. What's your confidence with the this roster coming up, this 2025 Eagles team? Do you think they can repeat? I mean, there's a lot of pressure on this team. Like, could they have a hangover? What do you think?
Well, listen, I still think they're a top 5 team. I think they have a top 5 roster, arguably still number 1 roster. I think the two things that jump out to me are they have been really healthy in recent years, really healthy. So shout out to their medical department. Shout out to Howie Roseman for whatever changes they made there. But when you see certain teams that drop off after their success, I think of like the 49ers last year, man, it was like all kinds of injuries, right? Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Bosa, it was terrible. So
Evo as well.
You know, that could easily happen to the Eagles. Hopefully it doesn't. They do a really good job of managing those guys this time of year during training camp, but injuries could get them, and that's a big factor when you played till mid-February the year before. And then I also just think it's just hard to repeat, right? It's just hard to win. Because you think about it now, the Eagles are a little bit different. Because usually to win those playoff games, they're all close games. The Eagles destroyed the Commanders in the NFC Championship game, murdered the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. That's a little bit different, but usually when you go on a playoff run, it's kind of like that Rams game, right? Where there's like a play here or two could change things. And so I think that's why it's so tough to repeat, and really, quite frankly, so impressive what the Chiefs have done the last few years, winning that many playoff games. Because if you go back and look, a lot of those playoff games for the Chiefs, every time they play the Bills, like it's like a one-score game that comes down to the end, and they always find a way to win it. Well, for the Eagles, in the playoffs, going against probably, let's say, the Niners or the Packers or the Lions or the Bucks, maybe the Commanders, those you would expect to be really close, hotly contested games, and especially if they don't get the bye, it's just hard. It's just so hard to win 4 of those for any team.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely has been really cool to see this team really kind of just prove a lot of the doubters wrong. And I mean, it's been awesome as a fan for sure. And obviously for your sake as well. I mean, just like to watch it. I mean, I bet it's just amazing.
Yeah, listen, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love the preseason games, right? I mean, I can remember in 2018, I think that was the year before I started doing the preseason games. I was still watching them when Mike Mayock was doing it. And I saw this left tackle who had never played football before named Jordan Mailata. And I remember thinking like, whoa, that guy, you know, that guy looks like he's got something. And I probably went a little overboard saying that I thought, you know, he would not only start, but be all pro someday. Guess what? He was all pro last year, second team all pro. So I was right on that. But there's a lot of guys that contribute to this team that you really started to see it in the preseason. Cam Jurgens as a rookie at center when Kelsey was out after Kelsey had an injury. That's when you started to see what a guy like, Jurgens could be. A bunch of guys on this team have made the roster based on how they've done in these preseason games. I mean, Van Sumeren at fullback. You think about on the back end, Eli Ricks, certainly Ajuma. And last year, I don't think anybody thought Thomas Booker or Darian Kennard or some of these guys would be on the team, but they made it with how they played in the preseason game. And it feels like there's probably more spots to watch this year than there are other years. I mean, certainly right guard, but on defense, you're looking at the D-line, you're looking at the linebacker next to Bond, you're looking at corner, you're looking at safety. I mean, these preseason games, which are going to determine probably 3 or 4 starters, are going to be really fun to watch. I'm excited. Hard to believe it starts already August 7th against the Bengals, who they just said they're going to play Joe Burrow more in the preseason because they've been getting off to slow starts. So that'll be interesting. If it's Joe Burrow against some of the Eagles' number 2s on defense, since they don't usually play that much, their starters, that will be a test for Kelee Ringo and all the guys competing at corner.
It definitely will be a test for Kelee Ringo and those other guys trying to get a spot and definitely trying to get a starting cornerback spot. But I wanted to also get into as well, a lot of people don't realize that you actually played the game. You were in the NFL for many seasons. You played with the Patriots. You played with the Cowboys. I believe the Redskins as well, Washington, now the Commanders, and then I believe the Bills as well.
Yeah, I played for 5 teams. Technically, I only really count 4 because the Browns traded for me and then cut me on final cutdown day. But yeah, man, played for 7 years. It was awesome. Temp job in my 20s. My dad is 5'9", $165. So I definitely did not think I'd be an NFL lineman someday. It is weird. I will say this. It wasn't that weird to be a Washington Redskin or a Dallas Cowboy.
Right.
But it was really weird to play against the Eagles, because from age 5 until I was 22, I loved that helmet. I mean, when I was in college, I went to a game. I remember cheering for Dawkins and Hugh Douglas and those guys. And then my second year, I'm 23 years old. I'm starting for the Cowboys against the Eagles in a Saturday night game, and I'm playing against Hugh Douglas and Brian Dawkins and Troy Vincent and those guys. Just bizarre, really bizarre to, compete against guys you had been cheering for a couple years earlier and to go against that helmet and that uniform and try to kill those guys. It didn't work, but to go after those guys, that was really a unique experience.
Yeah, that definitely does sound like something pretty crazy. I mean, obviously watching those guys and then you make it to the NFL, you make it to that pinnacle, and you're like, oh my gosh, like you're there, and then you see Dawkins, and I mean, it's crazy. I mean, that's
you'll
awesome.
Appreciate this too,
Yeah.
KJ.
Yeah.
So I'm 23, right? So like my buddies from high school, they all get together to watch the Cowboys-Eagles game on a Saturday night,
right?
And they love me, but they're not picking me over the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like they're not rooting for the Cowboys. That's not happening. That's, by the way, the divider, right? Like your mom and dad and your sister, your girlfriend, wife, or whatever, they'll stick with you, whatever team you're on. Your buddies and like your cousins, they're rooting for the Eagles. Like they're not rooting for the Cowboys or Washington. So it's funny. Like they're literally watching the game and like Corey Simon or somebody gets a sack and they're like, yeah. And then they all watch the replay to make sure it wasn't my guy. Like they wanted the Eagles to murder us, but they didn't want me to be the one giving up the sack. So it's funny. My one buddy called me that day and he's like, I can't believe you're doing this, bro. And I was like, what? He's like, I can't believe you're starting for the Cowboys against the Eagles. Like you have no loyalty, you have no pride. I'm like, dude, you work for Verizon in the mall. The Eagles don't even know who you are. Like you've never played for them. The Cowboys are paying me a lot of money to play. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, listen, the only thing I can figure is that you're going to give up a couple sacks to Darwin Walker to make sure we get home field advantage. I'm like, no, I'm not giving up any sacks. I'm not going to give up. I'm not trying to give up sacks to Darwin Walker. it's just like hilarious.
Yeah.
How delusional some people could be. It was great.
Oh yeah. I mean, I deal with that with my cousins. They're actually, they're Cowboys fans from Philadelphia. So
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's something else. So
well, guess what? They've had a horrific 30 years. So that's on them.
They definitely have. And it's funny, my cousins who weren't even alive for the Super Bowls, they like to bring it up all the time. But I was like, I would ask them like, hey, when are you coming to the parade? I would ask them all the time, like when it was 2017 and then it was this year. And they were like, oh my gosh, like,
you know what's funny, by the way, about playing for the Cowboys is that, like, you go to a hotel night before the game, it is packed. Like they treated us like we were superstars. And I remember thinking, do they realize we stink? Like, do they realize we are not good? It was 2002, but Emmitt Smith was still on the team, Larry Allen, Darren Woodson. So some of the heroes from the 90s were still on the team. So you kind of got like, hey, well, this guy's on the team with them now. And I got a chance to block for Emmitt, which was very cool. I mean, he's the NFL's all-time leading rusher. And, I blocked for him for, I guess, the last 7 games in 2002, which is, something cool to have for the rest of my life with my kids and stuff. Who better be knowing football now that I got him futurefans.com and took him to the Super Bowl for my older one's birthday, which was, by the way, an incredible I never get to be a fan. I'm always calling him, but I didn't have any duties for the Super Bowl. So I was able to get my whole family to come to the game with me. That was cool. Really cool.
That's awesome. That really is a cool story for sure. So same with that. I mean, obviously your career, as we just talked about, but what was it like transitioning from playing football to announcing and being an analyst?
Yeah, it's really hard. It's a lot harder than people think it is, because first of all, you can't talk the way you talk as a player because the people won't understand a lot of the jargon and terminology. So it's almost like you have to explain complicated things in a very efficient manner and in a way in which everybody can understand. It's not like playing, but for me, it's as close as I can get. But I love it. It's kind of like honestly, man, I only ever had 2 dreams growing up. I wanted to be a football player and I wanted to be a football broadcaster, and they both kind of have happened. I mean, because my dad's 5'9", $165, I never thought this would happen. So I just wanted to be a broadcaster. And if you ask my friends, they'll tell you that God made me a good enough player so I could get the broadcasting gigs that I have now. But it's not easy, especially when you're being critical of guys that and also how hard it is. But you still just need to call it the way you see it. Anything I say, I would say to the guy's face. And if I mess up, then they can tell me I messed up. But I'm gonna do the best I can. Listen, I'd be the first one to tell you, hey, Ross Tucker is a liability in one-on-one pass protection. They don't want him to be one-on-one against Aaron Donald. They better help him. That was me. And guess what? It was true. And it is true. So as long as you're just saying the truth as you know it, my big thing is this, KJ. When I want everybody, when they watch me call a game, including these Eagles preseason games, I want them to learn something. At some point in the game, learn something that they didn't really know. I want them to laugh. I don't care if they laugh at me, but just laugh. And then I want them to know that I love it. Because I think that if you don't love it, what are we even doing here? Like what's even the point of this? And I think most people can tell when I'm calling games that I love it. Like this way I am right now with you, or when I'm calling it. This is how I always am. Like this is how I am. I love life and I really love football. And so combining those things, it's a blessing, man. I'm 46, haven't had to get a real job yet. Doesn't look like I'm going to have to get one. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you're pretty safe at your job now. So, I mean, that's a good thing. It's funny because I actually announce part-time. I do part-time announcing for high school basketball games and semi-pro basketball games. So I actually do that as well. So, but the good thing is that, I mean, like it's not a paid thing right now. So it's kind of like It's kind of like a side kind of thing, but it's cool though. I definitely always wanted to announce when I was growing up. So that's a cool thing. So I think it's awesome that you got to do both things. You got to play football and then you got to announce as well. So, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great, man. Hey, that's how people have to get started with what you're doing. There's no question. I mean, I did high school games. I did Ivy League games on the radio. I think that's a better way to go about it, quite frankly, than some of the guys that just get like thrust in right at the top. Boy, that's tough. I'm sure I made mistakes at the lower levels that nobody noticed, and I kind of got those out of my system.
Right. So I got one more question for you. I think you're going to like this the best. Can you give me your top 5 tuck spreads?
Ooh. So that's actually a great question. I should probably rank them based on my last time at the stadium. That would be good content actually for my show, the Ross Tucker Football Podcast.
Yeah.
If
you want to save that for your show, you can do that. I mean,
yeah. So listen, I'm not going to go in order,
okay,
but
cool.
I will say 5 that jump out to me.
Okay.
I've done a couple of Cowboys Thanksgiving Day games, so I don't know if they're always like this, but the Cowboys spread on Thanksgiving is like lights out, absolutely lights out. I am very partial to the Green Bay Packers, especially if it's a noon game, because I get there at like 9 a.m. at Central Time. I'll have a ham and cheese omelet. Then I'll go down the field. I'll come back. They usually have mac and cheese and pulled pork.
Ooh.
So I'll get like a whole plate of pulled pork and then put the mac and cheese on top, like it's like a topping or a condiment. And then at halftime, I'll have 2 brats. So I love the Packers. The Bucks have a really good spread, really impressive spread. And that includes at halftime, they have Bananas Foster.
Oh,
and I figured out last Bucks game I did, there's no limit. So I went up 5 times and got another order of banana. I had 5 orders of Bananas Foster at halftime of my last Bucks game. The Ravens are pretty solid when they have their crab cakes, but they only break those out special occasions. Houston Texans are unbelievable. Love the Texans. They're very underrated. And then the Patriots. I like that chowder. Get yourself some chowder. They have these cookies as big as your head. So I'll have like 2 bowls of clam chowder. They have nice entrees and then 2 gigantic cookies. And they'll have like an apple cobbler and ice cream station. So the Patriots are legit as well. I think I gave you 6 there that jump out to me. Of course, the Eagles, but you guys will say I'm biased if I get an Eagles. I like the hoagies. And then I always I always get 2 Philly pretzels and I take the spicy mustard and I put it in like the holes of the pretzels, right? Put 2 plates on. So after the game, when I'm driving back through traffic, I'm just crushing 2 Philly pretzels. It's amazing.
That's awesome. I got to try that out. I definitely got to try that. So that's going to be definitely, I'm just going to call it the Ross Tucker method. I'll definitely be calling it on. So, but yeah, I know that we are a little bit short on time, but I appreciate you joining in. We really do. And definitely got to try and get you back on eventually.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you guys so much for having me. Keep up the great work. This is how you do it. You reach out to somebody, you stay persistent, you do it multiple times. And that's how you have to get it done when you're getting started. Looks like you guys are having some good growth. Kudos to you for that. Thanks for having me, KJ.
Of course. So yeah, but everybody go check out as we said before, the futurefans.com as well. So don't forget, but we will catch you guys later.
That was a freaking awesome interview. So, number one, big thank you to Ross Tucker for the time for joining us today. And huge shout out to KJ McCoy, too, for orchestrating that, conducting that interview. He did a great job. He had great questions, and Ross had great answers. So, it was really, really cool to hear both perspectives. And, guys, please, please make sure if you don't, give the Ross Tucker podcast a follow. Daily football podcast, and you can hear his perspective as a former NFL player, now CBS announcer. He does the Eagles preseason games. Love listening to him and his perspective, but that was really cool. But Jackson, I know it's 25 minutes into the show and you haven't said a word, so I apologize for that, but what was your thoughts listening to that interview?
Yeah, no, it was a great interview. I mean, I love listening to Ross Tucker. I do cue in on his podcast every once in a while. But I love hearing when he calls in at the noon time for 94 WIP. And just hearing his story, maybe I did maybe I didn't, but I did not know that he played for those many teams in the NFL. I didn't know he played in the NFL, so it was interesting to hear him that his dad was 5'9", $125, as he kept saying, and he made it to the league. So that's pretty cool to hear. And I guess hearing the spread, I think that's a cool topic to talk about because, different stadiums, games we go to, tailgates we go to, if we're going to, Buffalo one of these days, they're going to have a totally different spread compared to, Philadelphia. So that's always my number one thing is to see what the tailgates are having and also to see what the stadium's like go-to is. I'm not getting a freaking Philly cheesesteak in the Giants stadium. No, thank you. That is a big hell no. But other than that, it was a great interview, and props to you, KJ. You killed it. So thanks again, buddy.
Yeah, shout out to KJ. Shout out to the guy who's not here, but I know he's probably having an aneurysm right now. Let's take it to the Philly segment for Ballpark Tommy. Time for Phillies talk with Ballpark Tommy. Finger stitch. All right, before we get into the negative, I want to give two quick shout outs. Number one, shout out to the sponsor of the segment, Nick's Pizza. If you guys haven't, check them out in Wilmington, Delaware. The best place to get any pizza. They do pasta, they do cheesesteaks, everything. It's awesome. But seriously, their pizza is my favorite pizza in Delaware. If you want my personal favorite, go get the Mike's. I get a Detroit style with Mike's hot honey on top. Thank me later. It is delicious. And I also really love their cheese fries when they do them with Old Bay. Those are my two favorites. So go check them out. And if you want a Ballpark Tommy shirt, you can go get one from our Bonfire store. But Jack, you've been able to watch it a little bit better than me. I mean, this team just blew it. They had the swim chance too.
100%. No, I wasn't watching. I just kept tracking my phone. And yeah, the Phillies were up 5-0 leading into the fifth inning. And then what happens? Home runs after home runs after home runs. The score is 6-5 right now. This is something that we can't be allowing because we're almost getting down to October, and we can't blow up a game like this. Like we have always – I feel like this season especially, we've always had a hot start or a cold start, vice versa, and then all of a sudden we blow up and we hit some home runs or we just completely implode and just let in all these runs. So that is horrible. The fact that you're up 5-0 and in one inning, half an inning, you let them score 6 runs, 6 unanswered runs is ridiculous. This team is way better than the score shows. Luzardo was pitching a gem until this last inning. So we need to step it up because that is unacceptable. And if we hope to make it to the playoff postseason, we're going to have to step it up in a big way. And I was listening to part of my take today, and Max Valenti, they're asking about how his perspective on the Phillies. And, after seeing the Phillies win off a catcher interference, grabbing the bat, a walk-off run, and then they won yesterday 4-0, and freaking Sanchez pitches a gem. 12 strikeouts is a career high for him. And then all of a sudden, when the Tides are looking great, everything's on the horizon, this happens. This is unacceptable. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, sorry. One thing I just wanted to say, I'm also going to upload that Ross Tucker interview online too. I know some parts of it were a little bit buggy and laggy just because the Wi-Fi connection. So I'm actually going to upload it to our YouTube channel, which you'll be able to go back and watch the full interview again. Or if you missed it and you want to check it out, go leave a comment on there for us. That'd be greatly appreciated. But man, how often is it in a game where Kyle Schwarber homers, Casty homers, he hits the 13th homer of the year? Almost kind of weird with Ozzy Osbourne dying in the number 13, in my opinion, but that's a story for another day. And then you got Bryce Harper, who hits his 350th career home run. That was fantastic. And as Adam is saying in the comments too, I mean, Luzardo imploded in so much for the 4 homers. I mean, yeah, it's frustrating because you feel like this team is right there. They definitely have the talent. We know that. I mean, they've got, I think, everything they need. You look at the first 2 games too. Sanchez last night with the 12 strikeouts, and then the catcher's interference win where Citizens Bank Park went nuts in game 1. They really should. I mean, the game's not over yet, I guess, right, Jack? It's not. Yeah, it'll still be going on. Yeah, they got plenty of time. Sorry. My time is all out of sorts tonight. That's why. And I've been editing all day, so I haven't even gotten a chance to look at it. But hopefully I'll be able to turn it on after this, and hopefully they can turn it around because I really want to use that sweet video, man. I really want to use it. But point being, we got a special guest here. He didn't even know he was coming on the show tonight. I didn't even know he was coming on the show tonight. But in typical New York fashion, I'm walking here. Mikey D, you ready for the weekend in New York?
Why are you acting surprised, Dalt? You didn't think I was coming on the show tonight? You didn't think I was going to be here?
Man, seriously, I have so many things on my mind. I forgot we play you guys this weekend because, I'm all NFL. So I'm thinking about the NFL right now. Football's back, but I forgot. Yeah, Mikey D, you better adjust that hat, man, because you got Philadelphia this weekend. I guess you and McCoy are headed up to the stadium, right? How you feeling?
Yes, we actually are. We are heading up to my home stadium of Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. I'm feeling pretty good. As you Phillies fans know, we have a track record against you. We've won 2 titles against you. And
yeah, we know. Thanks.
Last season at the bank, we actually swept you, and we're actually going to do it again because now we are at home this time. We got the bleacher creatures backing us up entirely. We got the judges' chambers. We got the whole 9 yards. We got the roll call, and they're about to make your life a living hell over there. But, yeah, I'm feeling confident about this series. I'm feeling confident that we are about to get the job done. Aaron Judge about to go off. I feel like he's going to take shots like he always does. That is like one of the major rivalries now in baseball. Aaron Judge against Bryce Harper or Aaron Judge against Kyle Schwarber for home run wise. Well, let me tell you something. Kyle Schwarber might have a streak right now of hitting home runs after what he did in the All-Star game. But let me tell you right now, that is coming to an abrupt halt in the Bronx on Saturday. Ugh. Actually, this whole weekend, I don't think he's going to hit a single home run. I think Judge is going to deliver the heat again.
Mikey D.
Deliver a head of heat.
Mikey D, are these bleacher creatures like little rats that are in New York City that you see everywhere, every inch of New York City in the Bronx?
What the hell is a bleacher creature?
The hell is a bleacher creature?
Dude, so basically, Yankees are called the Bronx Bombers. Of course, everyone knows that because we just keep hitting bombs out the stadium. But the bleacher creatures are actually the people who stand on the bleachers who do the roll call every single game. Like they did for like Derek Jeter. They're doing it now for Aaron Judge. They get in your head, man. They get in your head.
Philly has some bleacher creatures. We have a couple of them.
Nah, you see, here's what's going to happen. You can talk all high and mighty about these Yankees. They're going to sweep the Phillies. Yeah, we're struggling right now, but, buddy, we're coming to New York City. We're going to take over the stadium, and we're going to sweep you guys because the Yankees, they ain't shit at all. Phillies are way better, and we'll see what happens. But good luck, bud.
Oh, really? We swept you guys last season in the bank. You said this last season. You said it last season when we were playing at your place, and look at what we did. I don't think it's gonna be the case. I don't think you're getting revenge. We coming in hot, and we still own you. Remember, we got the rings. You don't.
Guess what?
All right.
Remember, Saquon Barkley owns the Giants, and he's on the Eagles.
Two different sports. We got more success in baseball. Philly's a football town. New York is a baseball town, baby.
That is true. But you know what, Mikey D? You came on our Philadelphia show and you've talked smack on our team. So I'll tell you this, man. Philadelphia, which is a football city, as you just said, is going to come to New York, the baseball city of baseball cities. And I'm going to go out and say a hot take right now, Mikey D. We're going to sweep you guys at your house. And you and KJ McCoy are going to see one of those games. And you're going to be with your friends, thank God, those bleacher creatures, because it's going down.
Oh, really? I'm not intimidated. You think you're scaring me? I don't think. Dude,
we have a history of owning you guys at our stadium. I mean, CBP,
That
like
is true.
I thought before, like you guys owned us there, but well, last season changed completely. But you don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. Remember 09? Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, buddy. I remember that. But Mikey D, we got to move on to our next segment. So give me one thing that you're most excited for about this weekend with you and KJ McCoy's trip up to New York. New York!
Well, I did just come on here all fired up and did talk a bunch of shit. So now I'm actually going to analyze the game. So of course, like I said before, the talk in Major League Baseball has always been the two faces of the two leagues. That being Aaron Judge against Bryce Harper. And when it comes to home runs, that's also Aaron Judge against Kyle Schwarber. I think this is actually going to be a really good series. I don't know why Fox or ESPN didn't pick up one of the games. Apple TV, of course, had to, which is stupid, which I consider a demotion, not a promotion. But yeah, I think it should be a really good series. I think both fan bases will show up. Of course, I think the Yankees will overrule the Phillies in terms of their fan base. I'm being actually serious on that one, but I think it should be a good series where you do see like the best players from these cities. The thing about Yankees Phillies is it's always a tale of two cities. New York against Philadelphia. The rivalry is there. The hate is there. Now, we don't hate you guys as much as Boston. You beat Boston in the series, even though you're down to them right now. We still appreciate you for beating Boston, getting them off our ass. But right now we have to handle Toronto. And then Toronto leads to another tough series in the Phillies. The Phillies series will be tough. I know I'm talking all this shit. I don't think we are going to sweep. I think we will take two. It's not – I can tell you right now, this series will not be a sweep either way. I don't think it'll be a sweep either way. It's a tough series to win. Last season, I still don't know how we swept you guys. I still have no idea. We were close to choking a few games there. But I don't think it's going to be a clean sweep. I think the Yankees will prevail. I think Judge will override Schwarber when it comes to homers. Like, he'll continue to lead that race. But I am honored to be going to this game. Of course, Yankee Stadium, I don't know if you guys have ever been there. It's not as bad of a stadium as people say it is. It's a nice stadium. It's definitely not like the old one. Memories, but shithole. Here, it's like, well, we haven't really done anything yet. We've won one World Series, but technologically advanced. So, basically, I'm ready for this game. I'm pumped. I'm stoked. I'm all the above. KJ and I will be going. We got a few of our other buddies going to this game. So, wish you guys were there too, but it should be a great game. Going to be a great series. I can't wait for it. I'm pumped. Let's go.
Mikey D, I wish we could be there too, man. And to all you guys going, I hope you guys have a blast because this series is going to be awesome. To my Phillies fans, bring that fire. Let those New Yorkers know how we do it. Don't get into any fights and don't buy any New York cheesesteaks. Those are me and Jack's only two rules for you guys. Jack said the New York cheesesteak one. I got the one about the safety. But, I mean, this is an important series too because this is a trade deadline series almost, one right before. I know that Fratty, our guy from the Phillies postgame show, thinks that there's going to be a big trade on the 24th. Maybe it's Jarren Duran. Maybe it's Mackenzie Gore. Maybe it's Mason Miller with that fireball arm. But I don't know. Maybe they're trying to use Max Kepler as an important trade piece because this series upcoming, this game tonight, the rest of this game, it's a very important time in baseball. This is like when I feel like baseball really turns the corner and players really start to get serious after the trade deadline and, of course, after the All-Star break. But we are about to see, I think, a different Phillies team. And I want to see a different Bryce Harper, too. I want to see Bryce Harper step up this series. Like Mikey just said, I mean, it's a big toe-to-toe series for Bryce Harper. and Aaron Judge, but not only him, Kyle Schwarber, right? Kyle Schwarber wants to get paid, and he wants to keep rubbing salt in the wound to this Philadelphia organization of, if you're not going to pay me, somebody's going to pay me. And I'm really hoping it's you. I really am, because I like it here. Philly loves you too. But if it's not going to be, you're going to be sorry about it. And I think that that's crystal clear with the way that he's playing right now. But this is what July baseball is all about, is once you get to the end here. This is where it really starts to turn the corner, like I said. And I'm excited. Jack, you got anything you're looking forward to this weekend with this series? Or,
I mean, not really. I just, like you pretty much said it, pretty well. We need to win this series, because
perfect.
This sets the tone for the rest of the season.
I will say this first about the trade deadline. I think you're getting Jarren Duran from the Red Sox. I think we're getting Eugenio Suarez from the Diamondbacks. We really need help at third base. Also, by the way, since it's July, does anyone know when the schedule's coming out? We normally get next season's schedule by now. Not to
me and Jack are the last two guys you're going to want to ask that from, buddy. We're not going to know. You can ask us anything about the NFL and we'll know it. But MLB, you're not so safe.
But yeah, I mean, as for Schwarber, though, I mean, like, it would be kind of stupid if you didn't pay him. But hey, I mean, you have options, Kyle. You have options. I honestly think Kyle Schwarber would be a beast as a Yankee.
Shut up.
But actually, in all seriousness, though, I had to mention this. I really had to mention this. So yesterday I was watching the Yes Network. They broadcast the Yankees, in case you people don't know. It's the network Michael K is on. See ya. But yesterday, they actually had a segment with our reporter, Meredith Marakovitz, her name is. And there was like a thing in Boston where like the Red Sox mascot was like, had like a crush on her. I think his name is Wally. She said, the Fanatic is my favorite green guy of the league. So the Fanatic made a video yesterday, which was her birthday, confessing his love to her. He said, like, you are my type. Happy birthday, Meredith. I'm just saying, Fanatic, listen, I'll make a deal with you, all right? You trade in those red pinstripes, you trade them for a bunch of blue pinstripes, and she's all yours.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, hey, Mikey D, we got to move on to our next segment. I appreciate you joining us, man. We really hope you have a great time this weekend. And last but not least, please let the people know where they can give you a follow, because you guys got to give Mikey a follow.
Yes. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram. That's at play-by-play Mikey D. I have a lot of great content, of course, about the New York Yankees, and I will be posting a lot of content along with KJ. You could follow him on his channel. Of course, you already know that. We'll be posting some great content in the Bronx on Saturday. So give me a follow at play-by-play Mikey D, and let's get it done.
Let's get it done. Well, Mikey D, we appreciate you, man. Hope you have a good rest of your night, brother. Guys, be sure to give Mikey a follow. I know he's in here saying some wild things like Kyle Schwarber may go to the Yankees. Don't worry, Phillies fans. I know that they got the beard rule, which is a little bit intimidating, but we'll find out. Anyway, speaking of some crazy things, the Phillies bring back David Robertson. This is a great bullpen move. I know that he hasn't played baseball, I believe, since last September, but it's a good move. It's $5.5 million. They're stashing him in AAA for now, and I think that he had two stints with the Phillies, one, I believe, in 2019, and then the second one in 2022, I want to say. So I'm excited for it. I really am. I think that this is going to be a move that pays dividends once we get to October, once we get to September. And it's going to be where you want to have somebody with a little bit of experience. I know he's 40 years old, but he brings playoff poise. And he still posted a solid 3 ERA, 99 strikeouts with the Rangers in 2024. So I think that this third stint with the Phillies will be, third time's the charm. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a good thing. Do you have anything you want to say on it, Jack?
Yeah, I think it's the dumbest decision ever. I really do. Like you just said, he's 40 years old. He was an average pitcher for Philadelphia Phillies. This is kind of what the Sixers are doing right now with they're going for veterans and hoping they will show up and then they're injured the rest of the season. So I think it's the dumbest decision ever. I think there's better options out there. I mean, granted, $5.5 million isn't that much money, but when you need a pitcher, a young pitcher who is not all worked out, like you got to rely on that because, the arms are the most important thing, obviously, if you're a pitcher, but signing Robertson is a big mistake. And I think it's going to bite us in the ass. That's all I got to say. Dumbest decision ever.
So we got one of us that thinks it's smart, one of us that thinks that it's dumb. Stay tuned to see which way it goes. But moving along now to our next topic, we are here, man. We are at training camp, and we are so back. I want to start off by giving a huge shout out. Look at Jordan Davis. Look at Jordan Davis, man. He looks awesome. He doesn't look skinny at all. I want to be clear about that. He looks muscular. And I know that he credits a lot of that to Peloton, but if you look at him, he just looks more toned. Some people were saying, oh, he looks like Jalen Carter. Oh, he looks like this. He looks like that. I think he looks like Jordan Davis. I'm really excited to see what he does this year. And I know that I was a person that was saying that the team should potentially trade him. I would not trade him. I would not trade him. I think he's going to be a real value in the run stuff game. And I think he looks more agile than ever. Like, I think that this could be a really big breakout year for Jordan Davis. I think he looks great. What do you think about it, Jack?
Yeah, I think he looks great. And I know the past 2 years, his rookie year was a whatever, but last year he needed to step up and he couldn't play. He wasn't on the field all the time because he was gassed or whatever it may be. And you're getting, Brandon Graham out there, who's a great pass rusher, but he had more reps than Jordan Davis. And one thing is that was wild that you made that accusation that we should get rid of, trade Jordan Davis. Two, I think this is a huge year for him because this is kind of we're relying on these young guys. We got a pretty young defensive line right now, and that's kind of the workhorse on the defense. And Jordan Davis being in that role is huge for us. And we have seen some, spurts of greatness out of Jordan Davis during the playoffs last year and in the Super Bowl, but he needs to be prepared and he needs to step it up because, he has one more year left on his contract, but this is going to be a big year and we're going to rely heavily on Jordan Davis. So he needs to be a leader in that locker room, and he needs to be a leader on that D-line. So I think, not KJ, I think Chaos Chris mentioned that, I don't know, during the Ross Tucker video that we have the youngest defenses in the league right now, and that's a positive thing for us. So we got to keep it up, and he has to show up or show out.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. And just here's some things that I'm really going to be watching for at training camp as we get closer. The first thing, I want to see this safety competition, man. I want to see who takes it home. Obviously, right now they're saying Sidney Brown is probably who's going to take the lead there. I wanted Josh to be on tonight because he explained the whole thing with Cooper DeJean playing safety a little bit more than we thought that he was. And I think some people are kind of overreacting to that because Vic Fangio mentioned that in a couple packages, Cooper DeJean will be playing safety. Doesn't mean he's going to be the starting, strong safety right alongside Reed every package. Doesn't mean that. It just means in certain packages, in certain formations, we're going to have Cooper DeJean in the safety spot or in maybe the box. But I don't think that that's a bad thing either. I mean, the way that he plays is exceptional, but I really want to see who is going to take the lead, who's going to take the bull by the horns for that second safety spot. Obviously, Sidney Brown, Dennis's guy. That's who I want to see take it. He had a pick 6 against the Cardinals about a year ago against the New Year's Eve 2023. We were both there. Great game. Was a ton of fun. And then you got Andrew Makuba, who I think could really evolve. But somebody's got to take the bull by the horns. Somebody's got to get that starting role because this defense is way too good, and somebody really needs to fill GJ's shoes. It's not going to be an easy thing. Second thing I'm going to watch out for. This is something I want your comment on really quick. Who's going to take the right guard spot, do you think, man? Obviously, we lose McCoy Becton. Who do you think is going to evolve? Tyler Steen's here, or who's your guy?
I mean, this is Tyler Steen's position right now. He is the rightful owner of that position, but at the same time, the guy that we got from the Seahawks, McCoy Becton, before he came to Philadelphia, wasn't that great of offensive lineman, and then we kind of formed him into a great all-pro offensive lineman last year. So that's what we're going to do with the guy from the Seahawks. And I think it's going to be very interesting. I mean, to see the competition, because Tyler Steen, he got some reps last year, and he stepped up when we need him. But I mean, this is his make or break, and he deserves a position. He has to show it, because it's a next man up mentality, and you got to show that, and you got to give that grit and grind in preseason and in training camp, because that's where you just divide the boy from men. So I think it's going to be an interesting competition going on, but I think Tyler Steen, we'll see him hopefully starting in that position come week 1.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I really hope that we see him take that position too. I think it's his job to be one. And I think that, what's his name? Jeff Stoutland understands that too, that he's been around. I think it was his job to take last year too. Just McCoy Becton wanted it more. And McCoy Becton maybe fit the system a little bit better. But right now, as of now, this is his job for the taking. And the third but last but not least thing, of course, is going to be, how is this new offensive coordinator going to do with Jalen Hurts? Obviously, we know Patullo's been in the building before, but how is this relationship going to work? Jalen Hurts, it feels like, has so much change year in and year out with offensive coordinators. I almost wonder if putting the same offensive coordinator back to back is going to be a bad thing for him, if change is good, because it's very good in a way of, he's going to be like his football IQ. People knock Jalen Hurts a lot and say that Jalen Hurts isn't a top 5 QB, and that if he didn't have this team around him, he wouldn't have nearly the success that he does. And people are comparing him to Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson had that one Super Bowl win with that amazing Seahawks squad where they beat the shit out of the Broncos. And a lot of people are comparing it to that, saying that Russell Wilson wasn't nearly on the level of Drew Brees or Peyton Manning or Eli Manning. Of course, Tom Brady, but that's obvious. But just some of the QBs, Matt Ryan, somebody said. I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, okay, Matt Ryan is a little bit pushing it. My thing is, I think that Jalen Hurts having a different offensive coordinator every year has almost like turned him into a beast, because he has had to adjust and learn new things and just adjust on the fly pretty much offensively throughout his entire career in the NFL. So football is such a game where you have to react, you have to adjust on the fly, not only preparing wise the week of, but in the game, during the play. You got to adjust on the fly, the game plan, a lot of things. So I think that that's probably why we see this winning mentality out of Jalen Hurts. Something we're going to talk about at the end of the show, which I just want to briefly touch on. We don't have to talk about this too much unless you want to. I mean, I don't need to talk about it too much. Joe Douglas is back, which is awesome. That's great for the front office to get him back. Not that I want to overshadow that. I just know we're tight on time, but want to give a huge shout out to Joe Douglas. Welcome back. Definitely going to be great for Howie Roseman and him to be working together again, coming from the Jets. But we're going to be talking about the ring and bling here last in a second. But before all of that, we're going to talk about some of the disrespect in the top 100. When I saw that this was a topic, I kind of laughed at it, because there's the meme of, I believe it's James Franco's the younger one, and he has the noose around his neck, and he's standing at his first time. That's how I felt when people were saying, oh, the Eagles are disrespected in the top 100. Like, yes, this has been since the top 100 has been around, which I feel like when we were kids in 2015, maybe they did the top 100 before, but I feel like that really became a thing in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. They really started to focus on this top 100 list for NFL players. And you see Jordan Mailata comes in at number 69. Nice. But point is, disrespectful, some people are saying. I think that when you look at where the Eagles drafted Jordan Mailata, even though I agree, I think it is disrespectful. Super Bowl champion Jordan Mailata, you should say. He was a 7th-round pick. It's only his 3rd year. This is his 1st year being an All-Pro. And as Ross said earlier, he definitely saw the potential. But I think that him being on the top 100 in the first place, I don't know if he was there the year before, is a big deal. I think he'll only start to work his way up because Mailata's the kind of guy that once you know who he is, he wins you over.
Yeah, I mean, this is the truth. I mean, the offensive linemen don't get any love at all. I mean, I've been offensive lineman and they don't get any love. And I think it's actually pretty amazing that he's in the top 70 because not many offensive linemen are like that. You see, the top 100, the top 60 prospects or whatever you want to call it are offensive players or defensive players. That being a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, a tight end, cornerback, middle linebacker, DN. So I think 69 is a great spot for him because, again, it's just a tough, and it really depends on how they're judging the top 100. But I think being an offensive lineman, being number 69 is a great position to be at. So I don't think it's disrespectful at all. I mean, what else do you want? I mean, if this was the top 100 offensive lineman, that's disrespectful. But this is top 100 NFL players, so you got to give him some credit. I mean, like Ross said, saw potential in him. He has stepped it up every single year since he's been in the league. So I got no hate towards that at all. You muted, bud.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, you pretty much summed it all up. So stay tuned. It's going to be interesting to see where other players come in. But like I said, I mean, for me, it was first time. Wasn't our first time, though. For getting a Super Bowl ring. I mean, I just want to show a picture real quick. Look at that.
Yeah,
Look at that.
That's real nice.
That's going to be a meme for years to come. I mean, how happy does looking at this photo make you, Jack?
So happy. I mean, A.J. Brown has been in the league for quite some time now, and just seeing that big smile on his face, he's never seen a Super Bowl ring. He has never sniffed it other than playing against the Chiefs when we lost. But yeah, I think I don't know if he's on the team actually. But yeah, just seeing the pure joy and happiness coming from A.J. Brown. I will say this: the ring's pretty cool. I think it's a little cheap that they did the wings. I mean, it's a cool little feature, but the wings look kind of cheap. But other than that, it just how they did it. I really don't understand why they do it off season. Why don't they do it week 1? And I know they're doing the banner against the Cowboys, but why don't they do it week 1 where they kind of for the NFL? I get it because they're not the NFL, the NBA. They do it their first home game. They present the rings. But other than that, I mean, yeah, just seeing, not even A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, who's been a workhorse all his career in the NFL, him finally getting a ring is incredible to see. Just that pure happiness that you see on his face when he saw that ring. And just the utter shock, holy shit, this is legit. Wow, this is insane. But yeah, I think it's incredible to see they're happy. And not even that, Jalen Hurts deserved it too. I mean, he made a comment when he in a presser that, he doesn't really care about the ring right now because all he's worried about is this next season. And Jordan Mailata did the same thing. So, but it's cool to see us in my lifetime, my short lifetime, seeing us win 2 Super Bowls. Most of my friends who are Cowboys fans can't say the same at all because those were back in the 90s. So we have that one up on you. And yeah, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, you and KJ with his cousins, you with your friends. The only Cowboys fan I know, there's a couple of them from TikTok, but they're all TikTokers. I don't know that I know any. I have a couple older Cowboys fans. Shout out to the Craigs. They are true Cowboys fans. They've been with that team since I can remember, but I don't know too many other Cowboys fans besides them that have been with the team through thick and thin. And most of them are just random guys that picked the team when Zeke Elliott was there, other things, and just had to stick with them and suffer since then. But point is, yeah, I like your idea. I want to say 2 things. First off, Why do you not like the wings? That's an interesting thing.
It's a cool feature, but it just looks like cheap. Like it just looks like there's no need for that.
I love it. I'll say I love it because it reminds me of the helmet when you look at it, right? Like it almost goes perfectly. And look, if the wings were, which I don't think that they would be, if the wings were only out at all times, I would get it. But the fact that they pop in, I think it goes together well. It's really cool. I don't know that I like how big it is. It is very big, bigger than I expected. I mean, obviously, as you guys can see with AJ Brown's face, the ring made history. It did. The company that made it said that this was the first ever ring like it that they did where it pops out with the eagle wings. I know that we actually have replicas. If anybody wants to buy a replica, check out the link in the bio on our link tree for 302 Birds, or just go to our Instagram, click on our bio, and the link is directly there, or on our link tree, and you can go buy one. We got them for $40 and them for $140, I believe, or $160. Don't quote me. It's around that range, 150-ish. Point is, you can get yourself a replica championship ring that actually pops out with the wings. I love that part. Second thing I'll say, great idea. Great idea on the week one thing. That was what my favorite part was about this whole thing, was the smiles, the motivation, the way that the guys looked at the ring. And I know that Jalen Hurts is, Jalen Hurts, and he didn't want to wear the ring for certain reasons. And he said it was a symbol today, and he came out and said why. But he was even still happy with the box walking around, like he had his thing going on. Whatever makes these guys happy, I think it's awesome. But I do agree with you. Week one would have been a really smart time strategically to do this for the team, because that's when this all really starts to matter. It's okay in the offseason. I get they don't want it to be a distraction. They want them to have a fun night. They want to be able to drink a little bit. I'm sure during the offseason, things are a little bit more restricted. But I'll say the way that they all talked about this, like especially the wideouts, Devontae Smith had the comment that, hey, I got 9 more fingers. You know what I mean? Like I got plenty of space. And I think that that's such an awesome way to look at it. So I thought it was a really cool way to do it, and something just awesome. So well done by the jewelry designer, and whoever the hell was the artist on this for the jewelry designer needs to get a promotion, because the creativity, man, was insane.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I get it. Jalen Hurts has always been stoic since he's been in the league, right? But I just think you got to show some kind of excitement and be more like, enjoy the night, dude. I know he was clearly happy about it, but you got to enjoy the night, because you worked your ass off all season to get to that. And I know you want more, but you got to live in the present moment. You can't dwell on the future. You just got to stay in the now. And a lot of people nowadays just dwell on the future, and they don't really care about the present. And we got to get back to that, because we love Jalen Hurts to death. He's a great leader, but at the same time, you got to ease it up a little bit. You got to show some excitement, show some emotion. But yeah, that's all I got to say.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say just before we wrap up, I want to give a huge shout out to Balboa Steaks. The knockout punch tonight. We're going to get a little intro for it, but the knockout punch tonight is the Eagles getting this ring, this second ring, our third one coming soon. If you guys haven't, check out Balboa Steaks in Newark, Delaware, the king of Delaware steaks, the best place to get your cheesesteaks in the state. By far my favorite cheesesteak. If you want the Dalton order, once again, I think I'm going to start giving you guys the Dalton during the podcast. Ross Tucker gave you the Ross. Like he said on the way home, I'll give you the Dalton. Cooper Sharp, mayo, ketchup. That's it. No onions. Very good. What do you get from Balboa's? What's your order? What's the Jackson?
I get the Cooper Sharp wit. So I get I get the mayo, I get the ketchup, I get the onions, I get the Cooper Sharp, I get it all. It is a fantabulous sub, and I think it's one of the best cheesesteaks I've had. So like Dalton said, make sure if you're in Delaware, stop by Balboa Steaks. Like I said, it is the closest thing to a actual Philadelphia cheesesteak, like you would buy in Philadelphia. So I'm loving it. I love it. So that's all I got to say.
I agree. And the only other thing I wanted to say just before we wrap up here is, if you guys haven't, check out the 302 Birds TikTok shop. Go get your Eagles championship replica ring. Link is in the bio for that. We have a direct link for that. That's not on our TikTok shop, but on our TikTok shop is not only a lot of awesome Philly sports gear, but a Frost Buddy.
Yeah, bro. Well, just remember, Dallas sucks. Hey, can you pass me another beer?
Yeah, I got you.
No, I can't do a Surfside. It's got to be a beer. This cooler's a one size only. Sorry.
Look at this. The Frost Buddy, man. You got to try this.
Really? How's that work?
Universal can cooler.
It's a universal, you said?
So basically, you can do any size can. Tall or skinny, I'm talking Surfsides, High Noons, beers, Miller Lights. You can even do Snapples and Gatorade bottles.
Oh, dude.
You gotta check this thing out. And of course, you could rock out with the best team in the MLB. Ring the bell, the Phillies.
Yeah, that thing looks fire.
Go get one for yourself. Best team in the MLB. Make the Mets look like a bunch of babies. Cheers to Frost Buddy. I love this freaking thing.
Every can, every bottle. Frost Buddy, the real MVP of this summer. Available now in the 302 Birds TikTok shop. Stay frosty.
Well, that's all we got. So, Jackson, I'll go ahead and kick it to you. And one last time, I want to give a huge thank you to Ross Tucker for joining us tonight. He didn't have to do that, but the fact that he did, it was awesome. And it was really cool listening to his story and his perspective. But, Jackson, go ahead and take us out of here.
Yeah. Appreciate Ross Tucker coming on the show tonight. Make sure you guys watch my show at 9:05 on Sunday night. It's called Weekend's Last Beer. We discuss golf and life, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But without further ado, hey Josh, it's an outro, not an intro. Hit that motherfucking outro.
What we got? 302 birds, Gino Stinks. Go Birds.
Oh my gosh, Chad.
Your favorite Chicagoan. Go Phils.
As always, God bless. Go Birds.